All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Kavita Agrawal. I am coming live after a very long time. The reason is I had a baby girl in November, and since then, been kind of working really hard on finding my rhythm again. Lately, I've been feeling like I might have found it, so I thought, why not start the live sessions again? Because honestly, I miss this so much. I've started this new thing called 100 Days series of stock analysis, in which I aspire to bring to you analysis, technical analysis of 100 stocks, not necessarily in consecutive 100 days, because honestly, cannot commit to something like that. But I intend to bring to you analysis of 100 stocks, and you will see in the series how I am addressing um, the uh, technical analysis part of swing trading, and how consistently you need to apply the same things over and over again. Okay, so I used a screener and I got some stock outputs, and now I'm going to start assessing the stock outputs that I received. Now, if you want to know what screener I used in the setting for that, just leave me a comment and I will help you look at it. All right. Okay, so we will now begin. So let me share my screen. So these are the stocks that we are assessing today, right? So first we'll start with Lloyd's Metals and Energy Limited. I don't know how many stocks I will be able to cover. I will try to cover as many as I can. Okay. All right. Let me just arrange my screen a little bit here. Cool. Okay. All right. So let's start off with okay. Sorry, give me another second. I just need to got it. Okay. So Lloyd's Metals and Energy. So let's create. So this is the watch list that I work with in general, but we are not looking at all of these stocks. We're looking at a very limited list of stocks for now. So the first stock that we're looking at is Lloyd's. So what I like to do at the very beginning is to look at the broad trend. So I can see on the weekly the trend is extremely bullish. And I'm saying that on the basis of RSI being massively in the overbought zone on the weekly. The broad trend is very bullish. Okay. Now for the 100-day series, before I forget, there is also a Google Sheet which I am using. So this is the Google Sheet. I am going to input this in the comments right now. This will also be mentioned in the comments when the live is done. If you want to follow along with this series, you can save this. If you open this file right now, you will see that I think the target for Bharti Airtel has actually been achieved, right? I don't know why it is saying negative 85%. Weird. Oh, okay. So probably did not. Okay, so Bharti Airtel, when we did the video, the target that was set was 1743. Okay, so 1743 was the target, and this has been achieved recently. So I'll update all of this later. But today, first stock that we are attending to is NSE. I hope I got that correct. Sorry, I just like to do things a little systematically, which can sometimes mean I take a little bit extra time. God damn it. All right. So, what is the spot price? It is 1329.8. Yes, it is indeed 1329.8. Okay. So, having captured the spot price, now I understand that this has a strong, very strong underlying trend on the weekly. What I'm seeing on the daily now, that as long as this trend was ongoing, um, as long as this trend was ongoing, the volume pickup was very strong in the stock. And now the volume pickup was very strong. And now the stock has taken some correction with poor volume. Now, this is the MACD volume, as many of you might know if you've been watching me on YouTube, right? And after taking support of the 250 EMA, the stock has bounced back. Now, the thing is that the volume pickup has not really returned to the stock. And this is the first major correction since this trend started off here. We don't have volume histograms for before that, no problem. So what I'll do is I'll go down to 75-minute time frame. 75-minute time frame is showing me that the stock had gone into a negative range, but it crossed over to the positive range this point onwards, right? Because it crossed above 60 and went overbought. What I'm seeing now is that the stock has been taking small support, but RSI has not come down below 50. Now, the question is this one full wave and should we expect some correction here? And I think yes, we should, because there is a negative divergence forming. So, what I expect to see, or what I expect from the stock, is because over here the 20 EMA and the 100 EMA didn't really cross down. In fact, 20 EMA took support at the 100 EMA and bounced back up. It looks like, what was this? Yeah. So this orange line indicates potential entry level. So when I did this analysis few days back, I thought 1125 would be good. But considering that the stock has rallied quite a bit, right? Potentially to my target, I want to re-enter when it pulls back to its previous high. This is the previous high. Okay. So this is where I want to set it, and I want to set the coordinates to 299 onwards from to 399, right? So this is where my entry price is. So if this is my potential entry point based on this previous high where I expect the stock to correct to, right? Where should my stop loss be? I am going to set my stop loss here. Okay. The reason why I'm choosing this point is because if this gets breached, then on this wave the stock will officially, on this wave, basically the wave that led to the high, current high, this will basically have forged a lower high, which breaks the formation that we are looking out for, which is higher high, higher lows, right? So this low is going to be my stop loss. If it breaks, then I want to get out. Where would my target be? I would expect, so if this is wave one and this has been completed based on the negative divergence that we're seeing, and we intend to uh, eye this level for potential entry. So I'm going to play this again, activate this RSI alert. What I want to do is I want to set my target at this level. So I am basically expecting the previous high to get tested. So let's fix the coordinates. So we'll match them both, and this will change to 299 and this will change to 399. All right. So let's go back to the weekly time frame. This is what on the weekly time frame our setup looks like. So potential entry point that we are looking at is this. So now what I want to do is I want to go back to my Google Sheet. Okay. And oh, I already have it open. Okay. Here the entry price I will enter the coordinates, the details. So 1174 roughly, and then the target, the stop loss is 1103.5, and then the target is 1473.6. What this shows me is, okay, so it's taking stuff from LTP stop loss target. So what I will do is I will change F to D. So no, sorry, I need to change it to E. Okay, and then this also I will change to E. So now I can see my risk reward ratio is 4.25, which is more than 3. So for me, for any trade setup to qualify as something that I will be monitoring or committing my capital to, it needs to have a risk reward ratio of minimum 3. Since this stock meets that criteria, this trade setup meets that criteria, I am going to go ahead and hold it or keep monitoring it. Okay. All right. So let's set some alerts now so that we don't get lost. First of all, if this stock goes beyond this target level, we want to know. So I will call this 100-day series, 100-day analysis series, target reached. Okay. This Alt A to set my alert. This is 100-day series entry touched. And then this is my alert which I want to call 100-day analysis series SL triggered. All right. So we've done this. Let's move on to the next stock. Godrej Industries. All right. Now, guys, if you want to connect with me, the best way to do that, because I can see a lot of comments, the best way to do that is join my public channel on Telegram, which is called Trade with Kavita. You can simply go and search this Trade with Kavita, but mind you, there are some fake channels running with my name, so you want to be wary of those and just make sure that you don't end up following or paying some scammers, because that won't be very good for your financial health. All right, let's see. So there is Aman. He's asking if I can suggest a good book for swing trading. And Aman, of course, I can suggest you a book for swing trading. The one that I am personally reading, which I have here now. And this is a really, really good book, but it's also a pretty hard-hitting book. It's very heavy. It's very dense, but it's really good. It's called The Master Swing Trader by Alan Farley. So you can get it on Amazon, I think. The PDFs are also available. This is like a really, really, really good book. If you are a beginner, though, this will not be suitable for you. If you're a beginner, then you want to go with something lighter, like the technical analysis for financial markets by Kirkpatrick and Darkus. That's a better book. But then remember, that's not focused on swing trading. That teaches you technical analysis basics. And for swing trading, you really need to clean up your basics first. Okay. Moving on. So the next stock that we want to deal with right now is, all right. Next stock is Godrej Industries. So I'm going to copy. CMP spot price is 1125, and we'll see where we can get the entry price at. So we'll go back and we'll open Godrej Industries. So Godrej Industries. Again, let's look at the broad weekly and decide what the trend is. So on the weekly, I can see that the stock has created like a double top and a massive negative divergence. Now, I can see strong volume, but what is the strong volume against? Okay, so the strong volume pickup was on the upside, which is bullish. But because of this negative divergence, I feel discouraged. So what I will do is, okay, the negative divergence is also very prevalent on the daily time frame. So what I will do is, I already have an alert set here, right? So if this higher high is breached, right, then I will know that the weekly had a RSI negative divergence. But because the see, there is a possibility. Let's go back to weekly. There's a possibility that this was the true negative divergence, and this was the correction as a result of the negative divergence. But I wouldn't really call this a negative divergence because this price is not the same level as this price. But I would say this peak here, that is this, the closing of this long candle and this green candle, they are at the same level, but the RSI is not. So that is a negative divergence. Now, because negative divergence has occurred, I will expect a much bigger correction here. And because there is a clear probability of a correction based on the weekly time frame, I don't feel very confident initiating or looking out for a trade setup in this stock right now. So we will move over, we will move on. And so unless the stock achieves a lifetime high, I'm going to avoid the stock, right? Um, okay, let's move on to the next stock, that is UPL. Oh, so we don't have any setup here, so we will remove the stock and we will look at NSE UPL to see if we have something more promising there. 655 is the current market price of UPL. Okay, so coming back to the daily, interesting. So the daily is showing us that this is where it became negative because it broke below the level of 40, but this is where it turned back bullish. Okay, so weekly time frame is looking very bullish for UPL. Let's move to the daily time frame now. On the daily time frame, I can see that since it turned bullish here, it gave lots of very good swings. And honestly, I like the stock UPL. I've been trading this stock since many, many years. It's also part of my long term recommendation and is giving very good returns. But from a short term swing perspective, if I have to assess this, I can see a negative divergence between this higher high on the price and this lower high on the RSI. This negative divergence suggests that while the underlying trend on daily and weekly is very bullish, a short term correction can be expected in UPL. That short term correction can potentially give us opportunity for trade. So what we'll do is we'll set up this alert here on the RSI of the 75-minute time frame and the level of 30. I prefer to use my time frames in a fractal manner. So the weekly and the daily have a factor of 5 between them, and the daily and the 75 also have a factor of 5 between them. So that's what I prefer to do. All right. So we will wait for this correction. So just like this correction happened, right, and then this correction also. So how these corrections happen on the 75-minute time frame and gave us entry opportunities close to a support zone, I expect that we can again see that. So here I can see that this is a very important support zone, and below this also we have another support zone here. So I would expect UPL to decline all the way to 560, and I think that might potentially be something. However, I will not set entry orders right now. I will wait for the stock to trigger my alert and then monitor, and then we'll do something. So we'll come back to assessing UPL sometime later in the future. Okay. Let's move on to the next stock, which is Maruti. Okay, Maruti, I've recently done some trades and made some good money. And it's really something to make good money in a stock as mega cap as Maruti, especially with short-term swing trading. Okay, so let's start off with the weekly. Again, the weekly suggesting that there was a negative divergence on the RSI, which shows momentum change, and the level of 40 got breached. So, actually, the Maruti chart does not look very attractive because it is suggesting breakdown in long term momentum. Also, here, if you see, there is a bearish candle formation here. It's called the inverted hammer. Um, After this formation, there was correction. The trend line is lending support to the stock, but for how long? We don't know. Okay. So what the daily is suggesting that post this correction, a double bottom was forged with RSI positive divergence, and again the RSI became positive. So what so again the RSI took support at the level of 40, it broke above the level of 60, which indicate that the momentum is positive. So what I want to do here is I already took this trade, right? And this candle looks pretty bullish. Now the thing is that if you look at the volume trajectory, I can see significant pickup in the volume when the price decline. Let's go down to 75 and assess this more closely. So this is the decline, and I do see that high volume selling occurred, and this recovery has not really picked up so much momentum. But 75-minute time frame also gave a big positive divergence, very high quality positive divergence here. So what I think might constitute of a good setup would be using this lower stop loss, and because this pickup has not shown volume, there might be a pullback to this previous low, offering us another entry opportunity very close to the same price where we entered last time. Okay, so we'll keep 11,502 as potential entry point. Okay, so let's enter that. So 502, and then what would be a target? Currently, since this is where two resistances are present, I think this would be a proper target. Now let's see if this meets our risk reward ratio requirement. So risk is 1.8% and the target is around 4.87%. So not really, doesn't really meet the risk reward ratio requirement. So the only way to make for the setup to make sense is we can't budge the stop loss, we can't budge the target. So we need to look for a lower entry point. Oh, so if we lower our entry point even slightly, which is fine, right? Because it's still within the green rectangle. So let's use that. I'm going to delete this alert because I will set the alert here. So 11475 instead of 11,500. Very, very nominal change here. So we'll just set the alert here and we'll call it 100-day analysis entry triggered, and then we'll set the stop loss here, and then we'll also set an alert on the target. I don't want the alert there, I do want the alert on the target. Okay, so again, I will just give you guys a quick reminder that if you want the link to the Google Sheet, which is this sheet, where I am saving all the data related to the stocks that we are assessing here, analyzing here, just join my Telegram channel and I will have it. You can you can open it there. So let's enter the details. NSE Maruti. Spot price, like I said, is 11,716. Entry price is 11,475. Stop loss that we just saw is 11,278. And then the target is 11,910. So let's just control. We changed it for Lloyd, right? So we'll change those. So now this is showing this. This doesn't seem right. Let's just check stop losses. Calculating is being calculated from the entry price, and this is also being calculated from the entry price. 11,475, 11,278, and 11,900. So why am I seeing different numbers? 11,475. So I8 divided by E8 minus 1, and then 11,910. K8 divided by E8. Weird. This is showing 2 and this is showing 3. Let's open this and let's see entry price. Profit level 12. Oh, because the profit level is slightly higher. Okay, fine. We'll take this level. 12,000. No, it's actually lowered now. Okay, so we'll just match things a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I entered the level of the EMA instead of the target line because both are green, so I got confused. But now this makes sense. We'll just also correct for the stop loss level. Copy, paste. Right? Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so let's take this link. And then go over to my Telegram channel. There you go. So all you need to do is open your Telegram app and search for the channel Trade with Kavita. This is the channel. You'll see some daily quizzes here, which will help you elevate your technical analysis knowledge if that is something that you're interested in. Yeah. Okay. So I can see some comments. Let's go through some of the comments. So I already answered comment from Aman on YouTube. I can see Anil asking. No, Anil, I haven't shared the screener part, so I can also share now how I picked up the stocks that I told I would discuss. I won't be able to discuss all the stocks because I can see that my daughter is very close to getting up. She's fussing already. So I'll quickly just share the screener with you. Prakash is asking, I will be thankful if you can guide regarding stock selection and tool used for swing trading. Which screeners used for selection of stocks? Okay. Prakash, very loaded question. It's not something that I can answer quickly, but I will give you a gist. So, for the purpose of analyzing potential entry, exit, and for the purpose of trading in the market, I have what I like to call a 5-step trading process, and then I have an analysis grid. Right? It's a very detailed process. Broken down into systems, and that entire thing is taught in my live training classes, which is called advanced swing trade training. So if you're interested in learning from me, I would suggest that you check out that those classes. You can visit my website expinvest.in/learn and check it out. I will just give you the link in the comments. So expinvest.in/learn. The one batch is already ongoing right now, right? The next batch will start when this current batch gets over, which is going to happen in another 2 months. Each batch takes around 3 months to get over. All right. So moving on to the next question. Um, so Rohit is asking for a stock review. I don't know if we have time for stock reviews today. Option strategies. So Lakshya is asking option strategies. I personally don't trade in options. I love my money. I don't want it to be taken away by others with better resources, better research, and better tools. So I don't trade in options. I only trade in equity, only do swing trading on the long side. I don't even do short selling. I don't use margin funds. I don't do any kind of futures trading. Even when I'm assessing and working with stocks like Maruti, which are clearly there in the futures, I still don't use futures trading because leverage can really interrupt with your flow, your psychology, your risk management. And I don't want that. I want to keep it very simple, very consistent. I don't want to get rich overnight. I don't want to get rich fast. I want to play a consistent game where I am improving as with the amount of time that I put in. So I don't personally do any options, and I strongly discourage anyone who talks to me against doing options or leverage trading. The risk is real. All right. Mm, so this sheet that I have shared with you is open to anybody. So if you have the link, you can view it. Not a problem at all. Okay, let's look at Godrej. Rohit has commented again. Godrej Agrovet. Okay, so what I can see is the weekly time frame is showing very strong underlying bull trend with pretty good volume pickup. So the last good volume pickup was this, and then after that over here. But over here you can see there were lots of candles with longer upper shadow, excuse me, which suggested that downward pressure was evident. And then the stock declined slightly here. It still appears like it's bullish on the weekly. Excuse me. Let's check out the daily. So daily is also suggesting very strong bullish momentum. Okay. And it's been bullish since a very long time. Now, this concerns me a little bit because stock has been bullish since March 23, and it has rallied. If we even take it from this point, it has rallied already more than 100% in almost 1.5 years, right? So here I would wait for the stock to establish a fresh new bull trend, which would mean the stock needs to sustain above the level of 800. So here it tried to breach above the level of 800 on 24th March, but it did not sustain it. It came back to take support at the 100 EMA level, which is actually good because now if you look at the candlestick formations and assess it from demand supply perspective, the lower wicks have become longer, which means that there is upward thrust in the price, which is slightly bullish. If you look at the 75-minute time frame, the stock is in the stock is right now stuck in short-term consolidation, but from a short-term perspective, since this low was forged, it is, I would say, kind of forming higher highs and higher lows. Um, so from a short-term perspective, I think this can be kept as a stop loss. And don't make the entry here. This is a little bit high. Maybe a little bit pullback would be good. This looks like a good support level, 766 roughly. And then hold it for this target of 875, right? So this previous high can be potentially a good target. So remove this. So yeah, I assessed this stock when it was around 800 and I saw the higher high, right? I got an alert that it has forged a higher high, but I was waiting for a pullback and it gave a really good pullback to the 100 EMA. Now that it has established, now see, my only concern why I'm saying don't enter right now because it has created a strong green candle, but not with great volumes. That concerns me a little bit. um so like here, if you see, the strong green candle was forged but still it was retraced quite a bit, right? So here I would expect the retracement to come down to the 20 EMA, which is around 756. That would potentially, in my opinion, be a good entry zone. So we can round it off to 760. And here, if we do the assessment from a risk reward perspective, okay, let's use this tool from a risk reward perspective. $6.18. Fantastic. It looks pretty good. So that's for you, Rohit. Um, all right. So someone called Testing Trader has commented something, but I'm sorry, I'm not really sure I understand what you said. So if you could rephrase and help us understand, I might be able to respond to you. Okay. Now, lastly, since you asked, the screener that I used, okay. So since the market is still recovering from a massive correction, I want to work with stocks which are currently showing a strong underlying bull trend. So for that purpose, I used this setting. So this is charting. I'm sure pretty much everybody would know what that is. Now, on charting, I have my own curated watch list. This watch list has about 200 stocks taken from the top indices like Nifty 50, some SME stocks, some mid cap stocks, momentum index, quality index, so on and so forth. And from that 200 list, I ran this filter. The filter basically says that over the last 60 days, count for those, so count the number of days when RSI of the daily time frame for period 25 was greater than 60, right? And that happened for at least 10 days. So these are the stocks. So basically, these are the stocks in which RSI period 25 went above 60 for more than 10 days in the last 60 days, right? So these are the stocks that I'm looking for potential trades. At any point of time, I prefer to keep my holdings very limited to maybe 15 stocks at most. I don't keep active positions in more than 15 stocks because it's very difficult to do justice to managing those positions properly, right? So these are not the stocks that I'm going to invest in right away. This is just the first step. I am going to use my technical analysis knowledge to assess them for potential entry point, which is what we've done with the top four stocks, right? But since I need to now get going and attend to my 4 month old, her name is Ava and she's beautiful. I am going to come back maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, same time around 5:30, and we will finish off with assessing the rest of the stocks. So That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining in and doing this with me. If you are interested in being part of this series, just hop over to Telegram and join my channel Trade with Kavita. Right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I will see you again in the next live in a couple of days. Bye.